My mother never visited my father's grave. She still lit incense every month. It started when I found the letter, tucked beneath old funeral cloth hidden inside a drawer she hadn't opened in years. A lullaby I barely remembered, something from my childhood, soft, slow from before he left for war. I read the letter again, hoping it would make more sense. That's when I found the second page, hidden behind the fold. My mother began to change. I begged her to stop. That night, I heard a creak coming from the north room. Wake up. I stepped outside, the one we were never allowed to enter growing up. Eyes open, mouth slightly parted. The door creaked again, and from within, I heard a voice. I should have gone toward it, but I feel something moves behind me. I turned, and she was there, my mother, standing in the kitchen, just standing, wearing the same clothes she had died in, the hem still damp, dirt on her knees. She was humming. She looked at me and said, "You didn't make the rice. I thought you always made the rice on Sundays." Wait, I thought she was dead? She walked past me, brushed my shoulder. Her fingers were warm, but something is not right. She moved to the altar and refolded one of the offerings, then paused, tilted her head. "You left me outside," she said again. I didn't answer. And then I remembered the door. I turned quickly and saw it, closed, completely, like it had never opened, like I was dreaming. She didn't sleep, not once. I stayed up the first night just to watch. Sometimes she just stood still. Once I found her at the altar whispering, but her lips weren't moving in time with the words. The next morning, I brewed her tea, bitter ginseng, the one she hated. I set it on the table and watched her face. She picked it up, held it to her lips, paused, then smiled. "Thank you, honey," she said, and drank the whole cup. Later, I found the cup in the trash, the tea untouched, the inside lined with something dark and sticky, like old blood or bark. The next day, I left out her wedding ring. It had always been too loose. She only wore it for photos. That night, I saw it on her hand, but her finger didn't fit anymore. The skin around it bulged slightly, discolored, like the bone underneath wasn't the same. One night, I left a photo album on the table, the one with the funeral pictures. She flipped through it, smiled at some, paused at one. A photo of my father's altar. She stared at it for too long, then turned the page, but it was upside down. That night, I heard her humming again. Same lullaby. Only this time, the second voice wasn't coming from the north room anymore. It was coming from her. It wasn't that something had come out of the room. Something had gone in. Something had found her and crawled back out inside her skin. But if my mother was still in there, somewhere, then I decided to go where she had gone, back to the door. I waited until she left the house. She walked out barefoot, into the grove, didn't say a word, didn't look back. That's when I opened the door, the one she had always kept locked. Inside was not a room, not anymore. The space was wrong. Too long. Too tall. At first, it showed me my childhood. But their faces were wrong. Too smooth. Their eyes never blinked. And their mouths moved without sound, or worse, out of sync. The walls began to bleed, not blood. Ink. Black, runny ink. Dripping from memory. Then I saw her, my real mother. She was in the corner, curled, whispering, her lips cracked, her eyes wide. She looked up at me. Don't trust the light. Before I could reach her, something grabbed my ankle, a hand from beneath the floorboards. It was my father. I crawled back, ran, but the hallways bent the wrong way. At one point, I saw myself in the mirror, but it looked older and did not follow my movements. It was staring at me with fixed eyes. Then it disappeared. Then I saw something. Not a face, not a body, just shape. A mass of mouths speaking in unison. I ran. The exit was gone, but I had the ash from my mother's last offering. So I formed a circle, lit it, said their names, one after the other. The spirit shrieked, the mirrors shattered, the room trembled, and then I didn't look back. I couldn't. The door slammed shut behind me, like something exhaling its last. My mother was sitting in the main room, cross-legged, pale, calm. She looked tired, but she looked like herself. She spoke one last time. You stopped it, didn't you? I didn't answer. I just nodded and I had my knee down. Her face was calm, but her eyes, they weren't hers anymore. And for one breathless second, something inside her blinked wrong. Then it passed. She was still, as if nothing had happened. I bathed her, dressed her, tied the red string around her wrist. I kept her in the house as we were taught to do. Days must pass. The spirit must settle. I whispered all the things I should have said when she was still whole, and I slept until something woke me. It's not a noise, but was a scent, a smoke. I opened my eyes. The incense was lit, but I hadn't lit it. The offering plate was full. Rice, salt, red thread, bone ash, things I never placed. I stepped into the kitchen and found my reflection, not in the mirror, in the window. I was standing at the stove, but I hadn't moved. Then the reflection turned and smiled at me. You didn't make the rice, it said. I thought you always made the rice on Sundays. The voice was mine, but the eyes weren't. I looked down. My real hands were shaking. The bowl of salt slipped. When I looked back up, the reflection was gone. No sound, no shadow, just a soft breath behind me. Just before dawn, I heard it again. From beneath the floor, a voice, my father's. It wasn't me, he said. I never made it home. And this time, for the first time, you sounded afraid.